Hi, this is Chuck Oliver. Welcome to this week's Hidden Wealth Solution Review. Well, don't let the national debt destroy your retirement. Talk about in Hidden Wealth Radio this weekend how imperative it is for those of us, especially with taxes on top of our mind, of understanding the connection between our federal deficit and our current and soon to be future, as well as our children's future tax liabilities. And I'm going to be teaching this coming Tuesday at retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com. There's an interesting article that I talk about at Hidden Wealth Radio. And if you didn't catch our program this week, you can find it at hiddenwealthradio.com, or you can find us at iheartradio.com. And that's under podcasts, Hidden Wealth Podcast. Well, here's what came of this. It's the $6 trillion coming due this year in the next 12 months, folks, that many of us aren't aware of. See, we issued bonds, bills, treasury bills, notes, etc., at very low interest rates, and they're now maturing. And to keep it very simple, there's over $6 trillion of those bonds that are maturing. And what the government does is they have to refinance it. And when they refinance it, it was one thing when interest rates were near zero, but now interest for them to carry that is going to be around 4%. Well, that may not sound like a lot because 4% still sounds pretty low, especially after the Federal Reserves have jacked these long-term mortgage rates up much, much higher than that. But folks, that is going to add anywhere from another like 200 to 300 billion a year of just interest carry on our debt alone. I think of Paul, who was an interesting case study that had come to us, and Paul was 50. He had saved $900,000. He's done a heck of a job in his 401k. But remember, he's going to not retire for about another 15 years. So it's very probable that that's going to be well more than double than that, right? Just in the next 15 years if he retires typically at 65. Well, just today, if he doesn't add any more to that $900,000, his tax bill will almost be double. Now, you heard me right. His balance is $900,000. His tax will be almost a little over $1 million, $1.6 million. But that's at today's tax rates, at today's deficit debt service, and before he continues to contribute more. Because prior to meeting us, he just thought that was the way to go, and he did great. He did great getting it accumulated to that point. But here's the kicker: will he really pay less tax in retirement? His requirement of distributions are going to be over $250,000 a year if he keeps going at the pace he's going, which is like double what he makes presently when he's in retirement, folks. And he won't even need that much money, but the government's going to force him to take that much money. And the good news with Paul, he's got plenty of time to prepare. Prepare, prevent, and protect. The 3 Ps, folks. I say it again: tax elimination, staying ahead of inflation, and preventing unnecessary market deterioration. This is what's going to wreak havoc with this silver tsunami of more and more people, right? Because of the cost of inflation, which isn't going to go down anytime soon, regardless of what the media wants you to believe, and regardless of this Bidenomics BS bunk. It's not, folks. I could give you time and time again the number of people that are laying off. In fact, I'll be talking about in an upcoming program all the millions of different people now, companies laying people off. But here's the good news. Go to retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com. Let me teach you just 1 or 2 strategies that many of you have pulled away from that and said, wow, I didn't know that you could do a Roth alternative where you still get the same tax benefits, but there's no tax impact to our children on what we don't use with that. And then our kids, even with a Roth IRA, they'd still have to take out that money over a 10-year period or less. That doesn't work like that. The children can take that out of the children being adult children can take that out over their lifetime without any government intervention. What about the deduction, untaxing what you've worked so hard to save? So it's where do you put forward so that there's no tax going forward, and you eliminate your savings from the tax system, getting your IRAs away from Uncle Sam and insulate your income from the IRS. And then here's the other: how do you untax what you've already deferred the taxes on? See, we don't save tax, we defer the tax. So if we want to undo the tax, I'll teach you one strategy Tuesday that allows for those that qualify a deduction that our tax team supports and would say is arguably the greatest tax deduction in the whole tax code, which has been around for decades. It's not new or out of the box, but it's out of the box for a lot of people not realizing you can use it to convert your IRAs to Roth and not increase your taxable income. Folks, you work hard for your money. Retirementprotected.com, retirementprotected.com. Don't allow our national debt ruin your retirement. retirementprotected.com. Take advantage of these tax sales now, folks, especially while taxes are top of mind. retirementprotected.com.